Well, I've got some breaking news for you. Stock markets, according to a very well-known expert, is saying that this is pushing gold higher than what it would have been, for example. So I'm going to go into this more into this video today, and I hope everyone is doing well. So let's get straight into it. So now the stock market is going to the stock market crashing is going to send gold to 3,000 plus higher, and we are seeing this already. So we need to really look at how we can be prepared for gold and silver, by the way, as well. So I'm just going to tell you what the price of gold is at the moment. So gold is currently doing really well at $3,236, and that is on, as of now, for example, from Kitco website, for example. And I'm going to give you the silver price as well, because this truly is amazing. Although there was difficulty with the stock markets crashing due to the tariffs, etc., like I said, gold and silver is still going strong. And I know I seem to be going on and on about this, but I really want to show you as things are actually, talk to you as things are actually happening as well. So silver at the moment is $32.24, and it's going up. It's in green. It is going up. And let me just talk to you about what I've been listening to, for example, which I feel is going to really benefit us all, for example. So let's look at this. This video is inspired by Michael Oliver, the analyst. He really knows his stuff, and he has spoken about this on several occasions, not just once, twice. He's talked about it quite a lot. The stock market is pushing gold and silver up, for example. So be prepared. So the Federal Reserve they've just really come forward and said, look, the stock market is entering into the next phase down. And the analyst, Michael Oliver, he predicts that this will send gold to $3,000 and above, and also silver to $50. Now imagine you just brought a coin, for example. I know I keep bringing this coin out because I've got it here next to me, for example. So this coin, for example, cost me $30. Now this is a special edition coin. It's also got the logo. It's the Queen Elizabeth Australian dollar. So, and I've got the certificate as well to go with it, for example. Okay, so the value though is more than $30 because of how things are going up. And plus this is a limited edition as well, for example, because there's only 15,000 worldwide, for example. But what nobody's telling you is that most investors will miss this best opportunity because they are ignoring these 3 critical steps that he talks about. So I've worked for law firms, for example, as a paralegal. I've been a secretary. I've been a legal consultant under the supervision of lawyers, for example, and I've done conveyancing as well as wills, trust, estate planning, writing wills and trust, lasting power of attorneys, etc. And I used to see this quite often, for example. And that was in the UK, but also in America as well, in New York. So I have seen this happen before, like I said, and today I want to talk to you about you protecting your wealth, because it is important that you do that. And Michael Oliver talks about these 3 critical steps, for example. Okay, so he talks about the stocks versus the precious metals, for example. Now, we saw through the tariffs situation that the S&P 500 was crashing versus gold. Gold was holding its own. It was standing the test of time. It was like it was in that storm, but it was standing firm and strong, for example. Now, same with silver as well. Although it was, a bit low, for example, but it wasn't. It still was in a good place, for example. Now, commercial silver, right? It is used for purposes like, for example, electronic vehicles, solar panels, and things like that. So really, we're not really trained to see silver at the moment as what we do gold, for example. Silver is like the poor relative. But Michael Oliver, his track record, he highlighted this in 2008 and also 2020, he recalls as well. So in 2008, for example, there was the recession, for example, and I've been through 3 recessions in my lifetime, for example. And some of the clients I noticed were putting gold into trusts to survive the crash, for example, and they were unscathed, which was a really good thing. Whilst they were able to, stay in the stocks, they did lose some percentages overnight, and it's like history is repeating itself right now. And Michael Oliver talks about this a lot as well. So what can you do right now? What can all of us do right now? We've got this uncertainty that even though they haven't said there's a recession, it looks like a recession, it feels like a recession, but they haven't said it's a recession. But some analysis do believe that we are actually in the recession, like now, for example. So a lot of people are like, let's sell, let's get out of here and sell. And to look at selling your metals, for example, your precious metals right now, it depends what you're selling it for, and you need to seek professional financial advice, for example, because I'm not a financial advisor, first of all, and I'm just talking to you as a woman that has done these things, okay, with stocks, with gold and silver, for example, with how to protect wealth, for example. So he mentions about the ETF's safety. Now, I believe the best thing is to have gold and silver physically in your hands. Physically in your hands, or where you can get hold of it quickly if you need it, because some people are having to wait, like a month, 2 months. Some people have even had to wait 6 months to get gold and silver, for example. And really, you're in a situation that's not really practical for you to have to wait that long. So you really want to secure yourself and your family, your friends, for example, and have that close by, for example. Now, gold and silver allocation, for example. Okay, now the physical metals, right? You gotta look at how much physical gold and silver that you can actually afford. Now, I'm not saying that you are to run and get your money out of wherever it is and rush and spend everything on gold and silver. You got to seek financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just here to talk to you about generic things that are in the news, for example, and also giving my take, but also from the takes of the professionals as well, which is what I would also advise you to do if you are looking for financial advice, for example. So, do you have 40% gold and 60% silver? That is entirely up to you. Or do you do it the other way around? It's up to you. Some people are selling some of their gold to get silver because they're feeling, yes, the silver is going to finally win the race or soar, explode, for example. So you've got to think about what your leverage is going to be. With regards to gold being at $3,226, for example, that's a lot more per ounce than what it is for silver. 1 ounce is $32, for example. So what I would suggest is what it is that you can afford, that's what you get. For example, that's what you purchase. For example, don't go out there and pay for things on a credit card or get a loan out. Don't do those things. Well, I don't think that banks are lending anyway, for example. So think about this. There's also mining stocks as well. And I did do a video about the wealthiest mines around the world. So do go and check that out, because I think it's good to know where our gold and silver comes from, for example. But with regards to silver, because it is an industrial commercial use and the demand is getting stronger, it's going to create more increased value for that silver, for example, even though it is valuable now, because a lot of the things that we're doing today, we wouldn't be able to do it without silver. Okay, so think about what how you're going to allocate the gold and silver that you've got, and what is the purpose for it. You've got to have a plan. You don't just say, yeah, I'm going to start buying silver or gold, and you don't have a plan. What do you want to use it for? What is the end goal? Like for me, my end goal is for retirement, for semi-retirement in, say, 10 years' time, for example, because I'm going to be 60 in a couple of months, for example. So I want to start thinking about planning properly for my retirement, because we don't know how much of our pension we're going to actually get because of these inconsistencies with the stocks and shares, for example, as well as the government ones as well. So what is it that you're going to be saving your gold for? Because you can have gold deposit boxes, but you've got to look at where you're going to hold that. You're going to hold that for yourself, for example, in a safe place where it's not easily findable, for example, because if you have your gold in a vault and something happens to that company, then you could lose your gold, for example, or your silver. So just always bear in mind, what is the insurance saying? Just like how the banks are saying, look, we can only protect $100,000 in the bank of your money, that type of thing. So we've got to be mindful of what we're doing and what we're investing and where we're putting our wealth, for example. So I wanted to share this with you about what Michael Oliver was talking about. He was talking about the Federal Reserves, how the banks are emptying the vaults, for example. We've got Fort Knox. Fort Knox is saying, look, where's the gold? We need our stuff back. So everybody's requesting all this stock back. But China's always had their stock. They've always had their gold in China, for example. And what I'd want to say to us all is that we can start looking at how we're going to build our stock, how we're going to build our wealth, because gold and silver is going up and up and up and up. As I go every day, as I check it out daily, I'm seeing that it's going up, it's not going down, whereas some stocks are going down still, because this tariff is still here, even though it's paused for 3 months, but it's still, people are still being charged 10%, for example. And I'm not talking about China because I believe it's now 145% tariff, for example. So the impact, that's going to have an impact on all of us, isn't it? For example, at that rate. So I just wanted to share this with you and to really go through with all of you and to look at, if you want to do gold and silver, for example, then make sure that you've got a will. Make sure that you've got a trust and that it is, mentioned in there so it goes to the right people, and there's ways as well that you can do things, which is a trust tax loophole, for example, which is quite unique. So think about what it is that you want to achieve for your gold and silver. What is your benchmark? What is the amount that you want to receive? Is it 100,000? Is it 150,000? So that you've got that top up when it becomes your pension age time, for example. So I just wanted to share this with you and just say, look, check out the silver and the gold stocks, for example. See what the prices are for yourself. I'm going to put the link here, and I'm also wanting you to check out the video that I did, which was about 7 days ago. So I'll put the link here as well. But I predict, and I agree with what Michael Oliver is saying, that the silver could hit $50, for example, and that is by a specialist. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you so that you're getting up-to-date news in case you missed that. And let's just keep moving forward. Let's keep stacking. Let's keep growing. Don't forget to download the stacker, the calculator as well. And I do appreciate your likes. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel as well. And I also appreciate your comments, because I will comment back. And if there's something that you want me to cover, talk about, then, to do with gold and silver, then I will do that, because I want to do like once a week, perhaps a poll to talk about different aspects. But if you look at where gold is at the moment, it says $3,226. Wow. And silver is saying $32, and let me just check again, because they jump quickly as well. So it says $32.24, and that is silver. And you can, well, you can't see, but I'm going to put the link here so that you can see it in the chat for yourself, because it's just amazing. It really is. I'm super excited, and this is a perfect opportunity to get gold and silver, depending on what it is that you can afford. I'm not saying to spend everything you've got, but look at what you can afford. And even if you can't afford gold, then at least get yourself a coin. One of these coins here, $35, for example. Well, it was $30 I got it for. But the silver is growing, gold is growing, and you are in a perfect position to really grow and really push your push your gold stacking further and grow your gold and silver. So thank you so much for being here today. This was a quick video. I am going to be uploading something shortly, so do bear with me, because this is probably why it's gone a bit slow, because it's uploading another video for you to watch and for you to listen to, because this is the time. I believe this is the perfect time to grow your gold and silver business if you haven't done so already. Check it out. I put the link here. See what the rate is currently at the moment, because you will be able to grow your wealth. And I'm saying that this is it takes a couple of years. It's not an instant get rich quick scheme, but it takes a couple of years. And when I started my scrap gold business in 2007, believe me, it went quick. It was very fast. Within a couple of months, I was in London, driving to London to go and get my scrap gold refined into gold bars and silver bars. And I came out with 3 gold bars and 2 silver bars, kilo each one. And that was amazing. And I got it at 30% less than the spot price. So this is why I'm saying to you, if you can't afford to pay for gold at $3,226 per ounce, then look at doing scrap gold. Get someone to host, or you host a party, for example, and everyone brings their scrap gold, and then you purchase it at 30% less than what the spot price is, because it's broken jewelry, it's old jewelry, it's broken, there's an earring missing, it's a broken chain, for example, or it's an earring back, or something that makes it not valuable apart from it's gold. It's valuable to you, but you still got to get it refined, and you still got to sift through it. So that's why you do it at 30% less. And that, I was able to make 10,000 in 1 month from doing that, over 2 months, for example. And this is what I'm saying to you. Even though we've got the gold and silver, and yes, the silver is $32 per ounce, for example. Imagine you're doing a gold and silver scrap party, for example, hosting one, or you've got a friend who is hosting the party, and people bring gold or silver to the party, and you're there weighing up the gold, you're checking the trademark, for example, you're checking with your eye loop, you've got your testers to make sure it's real gold, silver, for example. You've got your spot prices of what the price of the gold and silver is for that day. And then you're then saying, right, okay, this is the weight, right, we've got this amount, okay, this is spot price, but I'm going to offer it to you at 30% less, because you've got to sift through and sort through the scrap gold and the scrap silver, for example, as well as go to a refinery and they will charge a small fee, for example. But imagine how you will feel when you've done that. And you imagine if you're doing that every month, and then every 2 months you then turn them into gold bars, silver bars, for example. It's such a good feeling. It really is. You come out of there, and then you've got a sellable. If you want to sell it, you can sell it. But then if you need the money, you've got the gold bar, for example, to sell, because it's like liquidity. It's like liquid cash. Gold is, for example. So that is one way of growing your gold and silver, your wealth. That's one way of doing that. And just, even if you don't want to do it once a month, do it once every 2 months, where you're hosting, or you're going to someone who will host a party. They get paid. Say you give them, some money, for example, as a treat, or a bottle of wine, for example, a couple of bottles of wine, for example, something, for hosting the party, and you're coming away with bags of gold and silver. It is a beautiful business, let me tell you. I used to come out with bags, even though they were Ziploc bags, for example, like the freezer bags, and they were held in these bags, and I would separate them, and then I would weigh them, and when they get to a certain weight, then I would take them to the refineries in London to get them turned into gold bars and silver bars. It was amazing. And then from that, obviously I would purchase from eBay as well, because you can buy scrap gold from eBay. I don't know if you're aware of that, but yes, you can. And it's an auction type of thing, and you can just keep buying that way. If you don't want to go out and host a party or go to someone's house for them to host the party for you, then you can do it that way. So there's lots of ways that you can do this, because this is the time for you to get gold and silver. It's the perfect time. The price is low, but it's going to go up. It's going to keep going up, because you can see if it stood those tariffs when everything else was crashing down, but yet gold and silver stood the test of time, it is a powerful metal. Powerful. It is going to just keep growing and growing and growing, and you can see that for yourself from the link that I've just posted in the chat. You can see what the price for gold and silver is. Precious metals is the way forward. I've tried the bonds, the paper bonds. I've tried that, and I've had them for like 20 years. And when I cashed it in, I didn't get much for it. So to me, it didn't work for me. But with gold and silver, that worked for me. And it will work for you. Same with, like, I don't know about crypto. I haven't got a clue about crypto, and I'm not going to even try and start to do that now, for example. But I've purchased stocks as well, and it's like, I didn't know what I was doing there, even though I had someone that was, like the financial advisor. It was too stressful. I'd rather buy the gold and silver. I know what I'm getting. I see it in my hand. I'm not looking online. I'm seeing it in my hand, and I've got it physically with me, for example. That is the key, really, to grow your wealth. It is a sure way of doing it, but it is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Even though some people have brought it had it for 6 months, then they've sold it on because they've done it as a hedge, which is fine, but if you're looking for a long-term plan, because you don't know whether you're going to be fully insured when you need medical treatment, you don't know if you need to put money down on something, for example, an emergency. You may want to pay for a child's education, for example. You may want to put money down on a house, for example. You may want to save for your pension so that you know that you've got a good pension when the time comes. Now, I believe that this is the best way forward, is gold and silver, because I really can't see anything else beating that, for example. Now, correct me if you feel I'm wrong, but that's just my personal view. Gold and silver, but also there is the mines, the silver mine and the gold mines. That could be a good stock, because I've been checking out that, because as you can see, I've got videos here about the world's wealthiest mines, for example, because they also allow you to invest at a small fee, for example. So maybe that could be something that you could be looking at, but do your research, do your due diligence, and get expert advice, because I am not a financial advisor. I am just a woman who is into gold and silver, not just as something to wear, but to actually increase in value, because we need to look at building our wealth, and building our wealth in a controlled way where we're not stressing because we've put it on a credit card or anything like that. Don't do that. You use the money that you've got left over to buy your gold and silver with. So that's why for some people, like I say, start with silver. At $32 an ounce, you can buy a coin, for example, like this one. You can buy a coin, for example, 30, just buy one of these a month and put them in a case, and then you're stacking up, and then at the end of the year, 12 months later, you've got 12 silver coins. Imagine those silver coins, suddenly you pay $30 for it, and they're like $50. That's a profit. Or they could be $100 by the 12 months, for example. So that's one way to start off small, step by step, day by day, month by month, ounce by ounce. If you can buy gold coins, then they have the gold coins, which are a quarter of an ounce, which are about $700 to $800. For example, you can buy one of those every 3 months, for example, or every month, depending on what you've got left over after everything is paid for, and you're not putting yourself in difficulty to get it, if you know what I mean. So imagine, right, if you had the gold coins, and then 12 months later, something which you paid $800 for is worth like $1,500, for example. That's the power of gold and silver, and it can help you to grow your portfolio. You'll feel good about it, and you'll feel positive that you're doing something during this difficult time, because this is something which we can control. For example, when we buy a silver coin for $35 or a gold coin, for example, you don't have to, buy an ounce of gold straight away. You can buy a quarter of an ounce, for example. So start off small and start stacking now, because the markets are showing us very positive results. Even when all of the markets were crashing, gold and silver was still hanging in there. It wasn't just going free falling. So this is why I wanted to do this quick live today, just to keep you motivated. I'm going to put my stacker, my calculator stacker as well, for those of you that don't have it. For example, for those of you that do, I'm just going to check my email to give to say yes, I have given that to you, for example, so that you'll be able to download it and put your own information in there. You'll see some examples. I've also got a video here about how to use the gold and silver stacker, for example, that I created. So you'll be able to do a 12-month, and also there's a 10-year plan. I know that seems like a long way away, but believe me, 10 years goes by fast. I'm on my 6th. That's how, because I'm going to be 60 in a couple of months, so I'm on my 6th term of 10 years. So it goes fast, believe me. Don't think it doesn't, because it does. Okay, so check it out. I'm going to put this after this video here. I'm going to put my free downloads, my free guides, and I want you to have a look and check out the videos that relate to it as well. I'm going to put them in there so that you know how to use those stackers and the guides as well. Alright, and check out the videos to do with the world's wealthiest mines, because they are stocks to do with mines, gold and silver mines, which are doing extremely well, for example. Alright, so thank you so much everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and look out for the next video that I've got uploading. It's currently uploading now, and I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. I'm going to be going live tomorrow as well. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye everyone. Bye.